Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, I am really hoping this leak is an actual card because I think this card can have a massive impact on, well, the format as a commander, sure, but in the 99 of certain decks, this card is going to be just what they need. Let's talk about the Gaffer, a 2/3 halfling peasant for 2 and a white. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. Words that were pretty much illegal on mono white cards years and years and years ago because Wizards did not want to give white any card draw at all. They finally are in some big ways, and I really hope this one is budget friendly because, yeah, this card has a ton of potential in a lot of decks out there. And again, mono white decks are still very desperate for card draw in many ways, and this can help a ton. Again, for certain decks out there that are gaining life, there are a good amount of mono white decks out there that do gain a lot of life and can do so repeatedly. There's a lot of very easy ways to gain a ton of life throughout the game, including on your opponent's turns. And yeah, this can have a massive impact. And as a commander, this can, once you're set up properly, pretty easily draw you 4 cards with each trip around the table. Blue decks eat your heart out. Okay, I mean, blue decks can probably still do that. But yeah, this as a commander for a mono white deck can give you absurd amounts of card advantage. Card advantage that you would never believe would be from a mono white commander years and years and years ago. But yeah, all you need to do is keep this in play, and you are in mono white. You've got plenty of ways to protect this, so do so. Keep it in play. Get some life gain engines out there that also help you out in your opponent's turns as well, and reap the benefits, again, of growing all of those lovely cards. I mean, you're not growing cards. I can't really get the metaphor here, but you know what I mean. You know, the planting and then the vegetables and then the drawing the cards and okay, let's just move on from that. Regardless of my terrible metaphors this morning, let's move on to the budget buys and the pricier picks. Cards that are underneath my $1 mark with the budget buys, and cards that are above my $1 mark with the pricier picks. Regardless, all these cards will be in a link in the description below in case you're interested in that. That being said, with these leaks, like I've been saying, please take everything I say with a grain of salt. They might not be real. This does look very legitimate, and yeah, many leaks in the past have been real. This one seems to me to be pretty real. That being said, it has not been officially confirmed, and until then, yeah, there is a chance that it is a fake. So if you are considering picking up cards for this commander, again, just please keep that in mind. Maybe wait until it's officially confirmed. That should be, I would assume, in the next couple days or so. This looks to be a card from one of the pre-cons, so we shall see. Regardless, now let's move on to the budget buys. Again, those cards that are less than $1. And first up, one that nearly can guarantee that you're going to hit this requirement every single one of your opponent's turns at least. Shattered Angel, an incredible card. 3/3 Phyrexian Angel with flying that costs 3 white. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, you may gain 3 life. Again, your commander's requirement is exactly 3 or more life. Well, exactly 3 life or more. There you go. So basically, hey, if your opponent plays a land, if they hit their land drop on their turn, you meet that requirement. So as long as you keep your commander in play on each of your opponent's turns, you're pretty much not guaranteed. Everyone's not guaranteed their land drops, right? You're pretty much guaranteed, though, to, yeah, draw a card. Again, 3 cards with each trip around the table at the very least, and not even counting your own turn where you, of course, have ways to gain life as well. So yeah, have fun with that. And of course, obviously, keep in mind fetch lands, keep in mind those kinds of, ramp spells essentially as well. You can gain a lot of life with this, and there's other ways to benefit from life gain. Next up, Ashes of the Abhorrent. Enchantment for 1 and a white. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate others from graveyards. So that's nice. I mean, that can shut down certain strategies. Also, on top of that, whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life. This counts everyone's creatures. This is a low-to-the-ground enchantment that is going to gain you a ton of life throughout the game. And yeah, someone casts a board wipe, you're going to be gaining a lot of life right away. But just throughout the game. 1 creatures are getting taken out. You can gain a lot of life with this, potentially even 3 in, in certain turns. So there you go, depending on what's going on. Moving on, Sun Droplet. Whenever you deal damage, you get that many charge counters on this. At the beginning of each upkeep, you may remove a charge counter from it. If you do, you gain 1 life. This is, first of all, a nice attack deterrent. Second of all, hey, if players are going to hurt you, you get a lot of stun. You get a lot of charge counters on this. I'm about to say stun counters on it. Maybe that should be it. Regardless, you get to gain a lot of life with this throughout the game. Getting yourself, essentially with each upkeep, as long as you have charge counters on it, 1 life. So you're a third of the way there on every single upkeep thanks to this. And of course, there are other repeatable life gain effects like this one. Next up, Paradise Plume. Now, there's a couple other cards that can gain you life whenever certain color spells are being cast. That being said, this one is flexible. Enters the battlefield, which is a color. Whenever a player casts a spell of the chosen color, you gain 1 life. Tap at 1 mana of any color. Of the chosen color. So essentially with this, it is a very inefficient mana rock. Yeah, 4 mana, taps for 1. That being said, if there is a color that is most at the table, essentially, let's say that green is the most common color among all players at the table, sure, choose that. You don't really care that this is tapping for a green. You're in a monocolor deck. You don't need mana fixing. You just need to say, what's most likely to be played, and then you can gain a lot of life through that. Again, if you're playing against a mono green player on their turn, you very well might meet that 3 life requirement on their turn thanks to this. Next up, Righteous Cause. This, again, is a great attack deterrent and also a great way to gain an absurd amount of life. And yeah, a way to not, guarantee, again, that you are hitting your commander's requirement, but this can really get you there in many turns. Enchantment for 3 white, whenever a creature attacks, you gain 1 life. This does not care where that creature is attacking. Again, it can be one of your creatures attacking. Great, you attack with 3 creatures on your turn, you meet that requirement. This also counts your opponent's attacking, though. If they're attacking you, cool, you're gaining some of that life back, which is great. If they're attacking each other, even better. You're not going to be taking any damage. They're going to be hurting each other. You're going to be gaining life. And again, if they swung with 3 or more creatures, you're going to be drawing a card. Your opponents can also help you out with Sunscorched Region. This can be a really fun one. 4/3, Flying Dragon. Whenever opponent casts a spell, you get a counter on it, you gain 1 life. So again, this one is not specific to, a certain color like Paradise Plume. This is just, hey, any spell your opponents cast, gain life, get counters on this. Again, if 3 spells are cast in a turn, right, in an opponent's turn, when they're casting spells, cool, gain 3 life, draw that card. Again, having more and more instances of life gain is always going to be a good thing for this kind of a commander, just making it more and more likely that you actually hit that 3 requirement. And of course, there's other ways to benefit from gaining life too. Moving on. This is a very, very strange card that doesn't see a lot of play at all, but it works perfectly with this commander. Peace of Mind. Enchantment for 1 and a white. Pay a white, discard a card, you gain 3 life. Basically, this is, hey, every single card in your deck has cycling. This is essentially what that is. Oh, okay, I guess, but limited to once each turn. Basically, at the end of your turn, let's say you did not meet that requirement. At the end of any turn, I should say, end of any turn, you did not meet your commander's requirement. You're like, well, I want to, so I'll pay a white, I'll discard 1 card, I'll gain 3 life, and I meet that requirement as long as my commander's still in play. Cool. You just said, you know what? I'm going to ditch this card that I don't need, gain 3 life. That's nice, and also replace it with another card. So this is absolutely massive. This is huge. You can activate this on any turn. Again, a card that is absolute garbage in most circumstances is fantastic with this commander. Next up, Radiant Fountain. There's a good amount of lands out there that just happen to gain you life as well. Definitely consider this one. ETBs gain 2 life, tap for colors. Again, you're in a monocolor deck. You can afford to utilize a lot of utility lands that just have for colorless. So yeah, utilize this. It gets you nearly all the way there, and actually will get you all the way there if you have Cleric class in play. There's also these type of effects that say something like, if you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. So yeah, do that. This every single time. Again, you're gaining 1 life. Now you gain 2. This can get you there a lot faster. And again, for those like Radiant Fountain that gain you 2, you gain 2, you gain 3. So you're actually even there. On top of that, level 2, whenever you gain life, you get a counter to our creature control. That's nice. Make creature hit harder. And then on top of that, level 3, when this class comes level 3, you return target creature card from your grave to the battlefield. Gain life equal to its toughness. So this one can gain you, that 3 life if you need it with a big creature in your graveyard. But also, yeah, just a good way to bring something else back from your graveyard that can be very impactful. Moving on. I did mention that there's other ways to benefit from your life gain as well. Angelic Cord is a big one. At the beginning of each end step, again, not just your own. If you gain 4 more life, this turn you get a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying on the battlefield. So now, not only are you drawing cards with your commander, but if you got to that 4 requirement as well, you can start making an army again. With each trip around the table, if you're gaining 4 life every single turn with this in play, you're drawing 4 cards with your commander, and you're also making 16 total flying power across 4 bodies with 4 angels. A gross Next up, Well of Lost Dreams. You can also take advantage of life gain in an even bigger way with card draw. This does cost you mana, but my goodness, this has a ton of potential. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X Rexes less than or equal to the amount of life you gain if you do draw X cards. 1 mana per 1 card is massive, and you have, again, plenty of instances to gain a lot of life throughout the game. You can draw a ton of cards with this. Next up, Nykthos Paragon. Make your army even deadlier. Now this one, you gotta kind of be careful when you utilize it. Whenever you gain life, you may put that many +1 counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. Again, since you can only do it once each turn, you might not want to just say, oh cool, I gained 1 life from someone casting a spell with my Sunscorch Regent. Okay, everyone gets 1 counter. You might want to instead wait for maybe a more of an opportunity to actually gain more life at once. Again, maybe with something like, I don't know, like Radiant Fountain would be 2, I guess. Peace of Mind would be 3. A bigger life gain effect can be even more impactful. Maybe you got a big life linker in play as well. Like maybe Valkyrie Harbinger. Let's just go with that one, you know, just random one. A 4/5 Angel Cleric, not random at all. Flying and a life link. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 more life this turn, you get a 4/4 white Angel creature token with flying and vigilance. Again, every single end step, not just your own. So yeah, flying vigilant angel army, here we come. And of course, yeah, this has lifelink, so obviously this can just gain you the 4 life on your turn at least, so nice. But now that we've talked about all the budget buys, and again, all these cards are going to be in a link in the description below, so keep that in mind. Let's move on to the pricier picks. Again, cards that are unfortunately outside of my budget, but might be within your budget. Cards that are more than $1. One that is barely more than $1. Soul Warden, a fantastic card. One of the Soul Sisters, and maybe we'll get to the other one here in a little bit. Maybe 1/1 Human Cleric for a single white mana. Whenever another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. Keep in mind, this is not just your creatures. Any creature entering the battlefield, you're gaining life. This is going to be a ton of life gained throughout the game if this stays in play for just a single mana. Just 1 mana. And yeah, I gotta bring it up as well. Soul's Attendant, the exact same thing. That's why they're called the Soul Sisters, because they both have, you know, Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant. There you go. But basically, yeah, gaining a ton of life throughout the game just for playing this one thing. If your opponents are playing 3 creatures in a turn, or just like 3 tokens, you know, they can make tokens. A lot of players can make a lot of tokens in a turn. If they're doing that, this just gains you that 3 life. This will get you to, you know, that 3 mark, so you can actually just, well, draw a lot of cards. You know, if you got other effects in play, make a bunch of creature tokens yourself. A lot of great effects can happen, obviously. Moving on. Archivist of Ogma. This can help you out in a lot of ways. A grossly good card. 2/2 Flash Halfling Cleric for 1 and a white. Whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Yeah, the amount of power potential for this card is gross, is awesome, is amazing, is another powerhouse in mono white when it comes to drawing cards. Having this combination to your commander is quite nice because, again, when your opponents are searching, which is going to happen quite a lot throughout a game of Commander, you gain life, you draw a card. So you're already going to be drawing cards with this. On top of that, again, gaining that life gets you closer to your commander's 3 amount of life that it's required. And with that, again, when it comes to, like, you know, searching their library, sure, tutors, but also, again, fetch lands, yeah, plenty of ways, or I guess ramping as well, plenty of ways that your opponents are actually going to be looking through the library. So yeah, this can trigger a lot. Speaking of triggers, Aether Flux Reservoir. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you cast this turn. Basically, if you cast 2 spells in a turn, that is 3 life, right? Because you gain 1, and then you gain 2. And then actually, yes, you would gain 3 and then 4. So essentially, this just keeps building on itself. The more and more spells you cast a turn, great. But also, and maybe more importantly, this is a great win condition for you as well. Pay 50 life. It's going to deal 50 damage to a creature or player. Dealing it to a creature is funny. Dealing it to a player is game ending usually. So yeah, with the amount of life that you can gain, you can pretty easily activate this, maybe even multiple times in a turn. Even if you can't, let's say you're at 90 life, all right? You can very much justify, you know, doing 50 to someone's face and losing 50. That is fine. And you can hold this over players' heads. Again, if every other player is underneath 50, you can just say, hey, I'm at 90. I'm willing to activate this. If you do anything to me, I'm going to take you out. So don't do that. So basically, you kind of just hold your opponents hostage until you are ready to take them all out. So yeah, basically, you win and you're going to win. Yeah, there you go. Moving on, Boon Reflection. At the higher budget mark, you also get access cards like Boon Reflection, an incredible life doubler enchantment. If you gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. So again, those tiny little effects of gaining you 1, now gain you 2, anything bigger is just going to double up. You can gain an absurd amount of life with this in play, and again, easily meet your commander's requirement in many circumstances. Speaking of which, Alhamret's Archive does this and more. If you gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. On top of that, if you draw a card except the first you draw in each of your draw steps, you draw 2 cards instead. This doubles up everything you care about in this deck. This doubles up your life gain, which again can get you to those requirements for your commander and those other things as well. And if you get there, hey, your commander is going to say, you get to draw a card. Oh, wait, that wasn't the one you drew in your draw step? Great, you get to draw 2 cards instead. So your commander is going to draw you twice as much. Essentially, this doesn't guarantee, but, you know, it basically makes it so it's incredibly easy for you to gain twice as much life and draw 8 cards with each trip around the table. Have fun with that. Speaking of fun, Resplendent Angel. Beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 more life this turn, you get a 4/4 white instrument with Flying Vigilance. Again, that's going to be quite easy for you to do once you're set up properly. And if you do that, hey, pay 3 white until end turn. It's going to get +2/+2 and gains lifelink. Sure, this just on your turn can actually get you there, which is very nice. Or I guess on your opponent's turns as well if they attack into you with this in play. Next up, Archangel of Thune. This is gross. This is disgusting. This has plenty of combos. I don't believe in mono white. There probably is one. I don't know. Anyways, regardless, that's not the point. The point is, whenever you gain life, you get to counter each creature you control. A gross, disgusting, insane. Again, you have so many different instances of life gain in this deck. This can make your army so massive that, I mean, Nykthos Paragon is great, right? But that is limited to once each turn. This is not limited at all. So every single instance of life gain, it's like, yeah, let's just make our creatures huge. So have fun with that. And of course, yeah, if you want to have some horses, have some horses. Crested Sunmare. Other horses you control have indestructible, which is just fantastic. It's going to be really hard to deal with them. Beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, you get a 5/5 horse. Yeah, that doesn't have any requirement for the amount of life gained. Just, hey, gain any life. Again, each end step, make a 5/5 horse that is indestructible as long as this is in play. Have fun with that. So yeah, overall, the Gaffer is an amazing new card. One that is going to be an exciting commander. One that can generate so much card advantage that you can't believe it's a mono white commander. And again, of course, even more importantly, it is going to be a card that can be crucial to certain strategies that mono white utilizes. And again, has been suffering at, you know, the lack of card draw options in the past years. So they've been getting more and more lately, but it's always good to see more coming. And again, one that says, hey, you know what? We understand that you need some more card draw. Here you go. Now, I guess one thing I should note is that I do wish Wizards would start to print more and more cards in common and uncommon slots that do give mono white good card advantage as well. Because again, I really, really hope that this one is going to be budget friendly. I've got no idea where this price is going to end up on this one. Comment below your thoughts on that. Where do you think it's going to end up? And actually, comment below again to let me know if you think this is actually a real spoiler. I really hope it is. Again, please be real, because I think, you know, a lot of decks out there could really utilize the Gaffer. But yeah, make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for more exciting quick takes, spoilers, and even potential leaks. Goodness gracious, there's been so many this season coming up. And with that, this episode is coming to a close, so let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.